Hey everybody, Carolina Gamer here, and this is the install of the Arbiter 3 from Modify and Angel 6. Okay, this is the same stuff I showed you earlier. Here is the packaging for the chip, and here is the instruction manual. It has all the modes and everything listed in here for you. I've already showed you this, so I'm not going to focus on that. I'm just going to leave it right there, and I'm going to go ahead and open the chip again, pull it out, set it to the side, and you can also see that there is the 30 gauge cable in there. 30 gauge is what it is. I'm going to pull this up so we can get a good look at it now. Let's see if we can get some good look. I might have to pull it out a little bit. There we go. And you can see you have all your buttons right here. Your Y button, the B button, A, X, the Y, RB, your right trigger, the Z. This RC is connected as well. You have an LED for status. The LC up here is connected. The sync button's connected. The left trigger, the ground, and the positive over here. And that right there is the brains of the chip. Right there, you can see. That right there is everything that controls it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a controller, have it taken apart, and I'll get back to you once I get to that controller. Okay guys, I'm back. I have the controller open here. This is the CGV2 version. And what I like to do is I like to take the chip and put it in place where it will be going, because up here you will notice that you have to scrape off some of the contact points for the buttons as well as the back button. So what I would do is any kind of marker that you have, I just so happen to have a fine point marker, and you can tell I've already made my mark there, there, and over here for these two as well. The mark's already been made. It is black on black. You can tell, you can see it in the light. You can see that there's a difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scrape off the point, the black stuff. I'll show you how to do that. I'm going to use a precision screwdriver that I have right here, this one here, and I'm just going to make a little scrape. Like that right there. Might make it just a little bit bigger. There we go. Hope you can see that. See, it's not big at all, just enough to get some solder on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and prepare all the button points, and once I do that I'll be back with you guys for the install for the Arbiter 3.5 chip. Okay guys, I'm back. As you can tell, I have all the points prepared and scraped off. Let's see. You can see I got both of them for there. And now I'm going to go ahead and just fit the Arbiter 3 in place. Like that. And let's take a look. See, everything looks pretty good. Everything looks to be in line. as well as over here. So now what we're going to do is solder it. Let me set the camera up and I will be right back. Okay, personally I like to start down here in this area. I'm going to just put a good bit of solder on the edge of the tip, and I'm going to hold the board down with a screwdriver like so, and just touch it, and it should fall in place like that. Then I'll do the same thing over here. Make sure you hold the board down all the way. There you go. And it's in place. And do the same thing right here. And that's not going anywhere. So I'll slide up to the LT trigger. I'll put a little more solder on. So hold it down. Like so. Oh, might not have enough solder for this. Alright, so in that case, we'll just do it like this right here. Keep the point on and add the solder. And add it till it circles around like that. I'm not sure if you got to see that or not. But there it is. So now what we're going to do is go over here to the other side and do the same thing to the right trigger and the Z button. So I'm going to, they look like they're in place, so all I'm going to do is just hit the gun with it and then add some solder. Same thing to the right trigger. And now let me bring that up to you guys so you can see it. You should be able to see it. Looks good there. Looks good there. And also I went ahead and pre-tinned the sync button up here. You should be able to see that as well. So now I'm going to connect that one up. To do that, I'm just going to really just touch it. It should lock right in. And just like so, it's already in place. Now what we're going to do is the buttons. I guess the best way to do this is just tin the points and then go for it. So we'll try right here. Like that right there. Not too bad. Try this one here. Let me slide this around a little bit. Just drag the solder to the meat like that. Hold it in place. Do the same thing down here. And you can use a screwdriver to hold it in place a little better. Take a little bit of that off. Looks like it's a little too much. There we go. And that looks good. Same thing for the Y. And just press down and drag it over. Might need a little more solder. There we go. There we go. And now we will do the same thing to the back button. right here. And take a little of it off. Might have took just a tad too much off. There you go. Okay, so now we have all of our points connected. So now we need to connect RB trigger. And for this, they give you a wire. So go ahead and strip one end of it. Since it is short, I do use some pliers like this and some clippers. Just pull the end off. And it's going to be a very short wire, so I'm going to go ahead and snip it. And go ahead and install it as well. First, I want to make sure that I pull the other end off. It goes from here to here. I don't see if I'm gonna go ahead and tin that point. Like that. Tinned up there. So what we're gonna do is just touch it. Make sure you don't ground it to the chassis there. So I'm going to now bend it down and over. Like this right there. I'm going to use the screwdriver and then just touch it to the solder. And it's in place. You'll want to inspect the point right here, like I said, to make sure it's not grounding on the chassis. And we are good there. So that's how that will look. That's the install of the Arbiter 3, guys. Now I will put the controller back together and I will test it, and then I'll be back to you.